This is our 5540 all-in-one shrink wrapping machine. I'm just going to give you a quick guided tour. Okay, so the film is centre folded film. It just sits on the reel holder with the bobbins pushed into the core and tightened up on the locking nut. Okay, when you put the film on, it's folded on one side, so the fold always goes to the back of the machine. So this edge of the film is open. Okay, so you put your film on, you thread it between the perforator wheels, and it comes up here, and then the loading tray sits in between the two leaves of film, one under, one over. Okay, so the controls. This, as you can see, is just about warming up. It's nearly up at temperature now. It's been on about 5 minutes. This is your set temperature, 180. If you want to go hotter, which you won't have to, it's arrow up, cooler, arrow down. Okay, so that will climb now to 180. This light will go off because it's reached temperature, but the temperature will still keep rising a little bit. And then when you use the machine, the air blows over the heaters and they'll start cooling down. So it'll drop probably a little bit below 180. That light will come back on and the temperature will build back up again. Okay. This is your sealing time, which depending on what thickness of film you're using. The film that most people use is 19 micron, which usually goes out with the machine. You would set it on about 0.8. This is the length of time the product shrinks. So the longer you have it, the tighter it gets to the point where it'll blow holes in it. If that's the case, you obviously turn it down a little bit. So we're starting on 3 seconds, which is about average. This switch is off and on for your heaters. If you have it on the off position, it just make a bag, which I'll show you in a second. But generally to seal and shrink, you have it on. This one's obviously remains on and on. Okay. So your product goes on the loading table, and you feed it in between the two leaves of film. And it goes against the back. There's a backstop there which it goes against. Okay. So to set your product width, both this table and the reel holder move. So for that, you bring it back a little bit and you just get that nicely in line so that it's lined up and comes off fairly smooth. Okay, so then you will bring your product and your film across into the seal area. You leave a little bit of a gap all the way around, and you make sure there's no tension on the film, because that's what gives you weak seals if you have too much tension on the film. So that's roughly where you want to be. And you just bring the hood down and you click it in until you hear that click. And that's your finished product. Okay. Now going back to if you just want to bake something, you put that onto off. And it's the exact same process, but it doesn't shrink. So you put your product in, bring it up against the stop, bring it across. Again, get rid of all the tension on the film. And this time it won't shrink, it'll just bag. But the same, it clicks in, and that just bags something, which is dead handy for if you're sending something through the post. You use a thicker film, even an opaque film. Okay, so we'll put that back on. Maintenance wise, all you have to change is these brown tapes, because when they start getting a groove in them, you don't get a great seal. I will send some with. I have sent some with the machines, and they always go out like that. It's just self-adhesive. Every so often, the blades will snap, and we can do thousands and thousands of packs before they snap. In which case, there's a video on our website that shows you how to change them. It's fairly straightforward. Okay, that's about it. It's on wheels, dead easy to move. There's obviously brakes on the front to stop it moving when you're using it. Okay, so you can do anything on this machine from something fairly small up to the size of the Platinum. So if you were doing something small, you'd obviously use an arrow film and you'd pull these right back. So in effect, that's a smaller pack. And if you're doing something big, you'd use a wider film and you'd push these two tables in. So you can do a bigger pack. Well, that's about it. Okay, thanks.